In the upper left, in the blue, he's for Team Liquid now. It's Clem. Bottom right, in the red, dispatching with extreme alacrity his Protoss opponent in the semifinals. His name is Dark. Tremendous alacrity because he got adrenal glands. And, well, if there's one thing, there's one word that we can use to describe the Zerg race, there's Zerglings, I would argue that alacrity is a pretty good descriptor. It's speedy, it's fast. And what are we gonna get out of these players? Clem has been experimenting with some non-Clem builds, some Cyclone Hellion builds and other things. But we know that Clem, where he's at his most comfortable, when he is really playing to just make sure he wins the game, he's going to be going Hellion Banshee. Quick third CC, maybe an 8 racks, maybe a 4th base, depends on the map, depends on how the initial pressure goes. But Hellion Banshee, third base behind it. That is how Clem plays. That is how he can be defined. That is the distillation of Clem. But Dark is a player that plays weird. He's been opening roaches isn't even all that weird, to be totally honest. It's a reaction to the Baneling nerf, where Banelings, they don't have +5 HP anymore when they get Baneling speed, so it makes it a lot harder, as the third base is going to be delayed by the SCV. Clem is taking no prisoners today. He is here to play, and we saw that in that Beyond series. He had 2 games where he was able to go, and now this SCV is not going to go down. It's just going to be a dead drone. This is massive. This is ludicrously massive for Clem at this point. The third base is going to go down, I guess technically at 33 supply. It's still going to go down at right around the reasonable timing, but losing the drone like that, getting delayed as long as you were, that's it. Such a big deal. And now Dark, he's just going to be a little bit discombobulated. His builds are going to be a little bit mistimed, and that's just never a position you want to be in game 1 in a series. It's just never how you want to deal with things. You want to be, we talked about Clem's comfort, Hellion Banshee, quick third base. Every player, when they're getting into a series, when they're easing into a series, when they're feeling their opponents out, they want to go and be as comfortable as possible. Game 1, there's a reason that it's not uncommon that game 1 of the series is as standard gets, especially in big games, especially in grand finals, because it's a time to get your feet under you, a time to figure out how your opponent's feeling, what they're feeling like, how quick how their performance is that day, and then you can start to maybe do some weird stuff. And also, you want to get that game 1 lead. You want to go up 1-0 in the best of 3, the best of 5, the best of 7, and while weird builds can give you wins, they can also give you losses. So getting that safety blanket of a 1-0 lead, of a game lead, well, it's a beguiling option. So for now, though, this isn't going to be Hellion Banshee. It's going to be 2 Cyclones, and then, well, another reactor that may build some Hellions. It may just be straight there onto the medevacs. And this push coming out of Clem is a little bit weird. It's 2 Cyclones, 2 Hellions, a couple Marines, but they're not with this army. Generally, when we've seen setups like this, it's been 6 Hellions or 4 Hellions and 2 Cyclones, but this is nice already. He knows where the Overlords are, and it's late Cyclones, so he's gonna get 2 of them. I think Queens, yeah, they're off creep now, so that's Overlord's definitely dead. No transfuses there. Now thinks about diving on top of a Queen, kites away, and there's gonna be that transfuse going down, but these Cyclones, they shred. They absolutely annihilate Queen, so you got to be careful. And Dark, his response, as he's very supply blocked, by the way, his response is to go for a run by. There's no wall in the natural. This could do tremendous damage, but there are Marines ready. There are Marines ready to plug the wall, so he's not going to be able to do it. He gets a ling in, sees what's up, actually gets a ling into the main base, and that's really nice. But this army's going to see the lings on the right side, tries to chase him down. Now get that first shot, won't find it. But on the balance of things, Clem is playing a perfect game at the moment. He's gotten a drone, he's gotten a ling, he's gotten 2 Overlords. And is that a ton? No, not really. Could have gotten a third Overlord. Didn't quite see it though with a Medivacs. But it is 6 minutes in, and Clem has not lost a single resource in this game. And when we talk about when we talk about any matchup, it partially is all about snowballing, about this ability about getting better trades that turn into better trades because you get your economy faster, you do economic damage, whatever it is, and just getting yourself into a progressively better position until you win the game. And I can think of no matchup that exemplifies that better than TvZ. It's all about the trades. It's all about the aggression and keeping the Zerg back. And this is going to be a canceled fourth base because, in part, the Dark was third base delayed. Because he lost a couple Overlords, he's been supply blocked a lot in this game. And that has just slowed everything down just a little bit. So Dark's creep is not good. We're 6.5 minutes in, and his creep hasn't reached the middle of the map. Those tumors are going to get nothing here. And Clem's going to have to pick up. He's lost his first unit of the game. 3 dead Marines. He's not unhappy with this, though, but it is important to point out as Drop's going to find this extra fourth base that's going to be attempted here. And Marines won't unload in time, so Clem not going to quite get the damage he would like the second time, but already 1 delay on the fourth base is tremendous. Delaying that third base. Fantastic. His 1-1 is going to be, I think, a little bit faster, like a second faster maybe out of Dark or something. It's very, very close. So that's not that big of a deal. And Dark is going into Hydroling Bane behind this. Hydra Den on the way. But again, because Dark's third base is, or fourth base was delayed, the third base was delayed. Technically, that was always true. All of his tech's a little slower. We're not going to see a quick hive transition that a lot of these builds go for. We're not going to see a quick lurker. There's the infestation pit going down, but it goes down at 7:30. Dark has definitely done this faster, and it's gonna be another canceled base. So if you're keeping track, that is two bases canceled and 1 base denied by positioning. Clem is just doing so well in this game. Now Dark finally's got the fourth base up, and the tech is starting to improve. Hydras are on the map here. Baneling speed is done. Clem will struggle to continue to play whack-a-mole, I think. But already, it's an order of magnitude almost. Clem is just playing so freaking well. Now he's going to try to stim on top of these Hydras. Maybe get some Banelings, knock some creep just right in their faces. And hey, Widowmines are there. Oh, those are nice trades. It's not the best Widowmines I've ever seen, but it's really not bad. And now double drop on the bottom left side. Dark was all engaged on the north side. So at the very least, Queens will fall. Lings do not want to funnel through this, especially with the Widowmines right here. And it's going to get a lot. So Clem is going to back up. He's not going to get the base, but he gets a Queen. And he gets a lot of Lings. We look at resources lost again. 8 units to 66. 600 to 2400. This is... It's again, this is just such an impressive game for Clem. He's going to target more Bailey's down now and back out again. And he's going to win this fight too. He's just winning everywhere. And in the span of 45 seconds, Clem has gone from, you know, ahead, but not really showing it in the supply, like +5, +10. He's up 50 supply right now. He's up in workers. He's up 30 army supply. Sure, he doesn't have +2. It's always good. It's not incredible, but it's well timed. It's timed out well against the Zerg player. He's been able to deny the 5th base of the Zerg as he's taking his 4th, and it's just dropping all the command centers right now. And this map is just slowly but steadily becoming more and more blue. Now, this is not what you're looking for. He's going to lose a lot of Banelings to shots, but again, he cares about this. If he can shut down this 4th base out of Dark, that's going to be just incredible. So Widowmines are going to burr up, targeted down before anything really happens. But here come more. No, again, the Widowmines are going to get targeted down. So nice job there. And the friendly fire will force things back. For the first time, Dark takes what's actually a solid fight. It's still a rough game for him. Still half the resources lost. Or double. He still lost twice as much as Clem. But it's not the end. Oh, this Widowmine. Oh, whew. Nice drag split there as well. So that could have been a lot worse. That Widowmine. That Dark was just about to lose a third of his army to a single Widowmine, but the Overseer gets fished just in time. And now Clem's got to kite backwards here. This is scary. This is his army being very destroyed and getting caught out on the middle of the map. And well, Banelings are going to do a lot. Widowmines are going to have a lot to say about that. But even still, Clem is shoved back. All of a sudden, Dark's up army supply. He's up total supply here. He's going to shove Clem back into his natural. The extra bases get canceled. At least one of them will. And we talked about Dark finally making a move, finally having some sort of positive trade. That was it. Dark finally found something. Granted, Clem's still on 5 bases, so Dark's still not the happiest Zerg in the world. But he brought this back a little bit. He forced Clem back. He bought himself so much room on the map. And that means that we're going to see Adrenal in this game. We're going to see 3-3 in this game. Vipers, 3 Vipers on the map as well. Dark has bought the time that he's needed to develop his late game armies. These Widowmines, nice splits there out of Dark. And, oh, I love that. The Overseer is just dragging the Widowmines on top, pulling a Phoenix there. That's a lot of damage. Now Clem has to be, he's going to have to rotate back. Dark is finally able to play on Clem's side of the map, which is not something that he's been able to do for a while. But now he's doing it consistently. And if you're able to do that, bases start to fall. Planetaries get busted down. Zergs win games they have not been in for quite a while here. As again, Widowmines, they're going to be burrowed up, but they don't have anything. And that Parabomb is beautiful. Vipers, they eat fully in peace, so they have to be careful right now. These Banelings are doing so much. They're doing such an incredible job. And this Hydra count is actually pretty high. 16 Hydras against a bunch of pretty heavily stemmed bio. They can fight that. But for now, extra base is on the way. Dark finally taking the map here. He's got his 5th base up, 6th base on the way. Clem closer to a remax now. 101 army supply. 3-3 very close to being done, but not there yet. And Dark can hit a timer where he's got +3 attack. And his opponent won as he drags the Widowmine. I wonder if it's smart to just attack left side. Deny that 5th base from Clem. Just because of where Clem's posturing, it's not... Clem's not quite in position to defend the middle left base, the bottom left base as much as he would like to be. So that's something we got to pay attention to. Dark, I don't think, knows about that base right now. No, he's aware of it. Okay. Now Liberators are going to siege up on the north side, and this is how Clem has been beating all the Zergs recently. He's been just getting a lot of Liberators and trading really, really nicely. But Parasitic Bombs for now. Hydra count is going to be able to knock them down. And again, that was only 2 Liberators. That wasn't an insane, that wasn't a crazy Liberator count. Not really. So Clem still takes a solid trade. Targets down a lot of these Banelings, and there are not a lot remaining. Hydras are going to be forced back right here. Marauders need to be at the front. Widowmines again get dragged on top of this army. I love this Overseer control from Dark. It's so good. It's buying so much damage onto Clem's army that he's going to have to back up again. And resources lost, instead of being double or 3, 4, 5,000 ahead, Dark's only behind about 1,000 resources at this point, which 14 minutes into this game is a big deal. Now Dark's going to lose the bottom side base. His army is not there to defend. Clem finds that opening. Through the middle of the map here, that's going to be a bunch of free lings, but the question is whether Clem can actually be in a good position. A lot of his army was on the bottom side, and nothing sieged up here. He's got to pick up and run, but when you're picked up, when you're not on the ground, that's when the Zerg army is going to play. 3 command centers should get canceled here very, very quickly. The 3rd base gets lifted. Actually, one of those command centers gets killed. We don't see the refund. This actually might just end the game. Clem, his army forced to pick back up. He's going to have Lings and Banes and Hydras in his main base. Vipers guarding everything. The reinforcement lines, they're getting dealt with. And Clem, the supply tells one story, but a lot of that is in production. A lot of that cannot fight. The question now is what Dark wants to do. 34 SCVs is a wonderful bounty, and that's what he wants to do right now. So 34 SCVs, get on top of production a little bit, and then back up. Oh, he got the fusion core. And that was before Liberator range was done, so that's a big deal. Liberators are good without range. Sure. Liberators with range, though, are just a totally different beast. They really do make a significant difference. So without that, it's life's hard for Clem right now. His supply is good. You look at that, you might say, wow, you know, Clem's ahead. He's not whatsoever. Banelings are going to get this next base with the Hydras as well. Army comes from the backside. There are enough Banelings to zone this out, and not only is the planetary going to go down, the orbital that's there to drop scans, to drop mules, that's going to fall as well. So at this point, Clem's back on base. Okay, so Clem's back on 5 bases. Dark. He's got a 6 base on the way. So the economy is from Dark is, well, the base count from Dark's okay, but the big deal, he's got a lot of workers. Clem doesn't. And he's got these outlying bases. So yeah, technically the base count would be similar, but Dark has more mining on more actually healthy bases. Even still, Clem has started to trade pretty nicely, chasing down Hydras like this. The Zerg army, the Hydraling Bane army, is all about big swarms, attacking in from multiple angles, winning with either big supply or making run-bys happen. Small supply skirmishes 100% favor the Terran here, so we're gonna have to see how this happens. Is now, well, Parasitic Bomb goes down. Baneling's got pretty solid connections, but it's not enough. It's a lot on the Marauders. It will get the Liberators, and when we talk about this, we have to remember Liberators are very, very strong. Absolutely. They're also expensive. They're not cheap. And Clem's only on 51 SCVs. He's really lacking in the mineral count. That does mean this we can't see this crazy Liberator count that we would like to see. So this drop coming out of out of Clem is really nice. 7 workers go down and start to curtail a little bit of that Dark economy. And while Dark's economy's been better for a large portion of this game, it's not been spectacular. He's been on max, I think, 75 workers. He hasn't crested 80. He hasn't built a multiple thousand mineral bank. It's just been most, I think he got up to like 1,200 minerals. Not a ton. And that has been expended, by the way. He is as broke as Clem is. And the Banelings are going to try to run forward. But again, the Marauder wall stands very strong. And Clem's army here, he's going to get Banelings. He's going to get Queens. He's going to break this base. Meanwhile, though, you wonder where Dark's army is. It's on the other side. Run-bys galore. There's no wall anywhere. So Liberators are going to siege up on top of production, where the Lings are just going to get filtered into. And I actually really like that decision. That's going to kill off a lot of these Lings. And now Clem down the ramp, though. Bit of desperation mode. He's got to make sure that he gets damage as much as he's taking, because he's going to take a lot. That's a lot of 3/3 cracklings. So he kites away for now. Hydra's so much damage, he's going to be forced to back up. These medevacs are so low. And everything in the natural's dead. I think an orbital died. I'm actually not sure. But I'm pretty sure an orbital died. He lost a starport as well, so he can't build as many Liberators as he would like. I like this Widowmine run by, though. Again, Dark's not wealthy. Clem's even more broke, but it's not like Dark has a ton of money. So again, these massive run-bys, and Clem is just losing track of them time after time after time, and a single Liberator doesn't defend this. I guess the one thing to talk about is that this base only has 6 mineral patches. Ooh, Viper goes down. Very nice there, but the Parasitic Bomb is so good. What I was going to say, I guess the silver lining, if you're a Clem fan, is that this base doesn't have a ton of minerals in it anymore. It's more important for the orbital to drop mules and scans elsewhere, is I guess the silver lining. So he took a base that Dark cared about a little bit more. And the fact that Clem is still in this game with the amount of damage that he has taken is quite frankly ludicrous. Another medevac will get targeted down here by the Hydras. But again, the fact that Clem is still in this game, he has lost more resources than the Zerg. And sometimes you'll see Dark do this, and he's playing infestors, and he gets a couple good fungals, and it's great. The fact that Dark is doing this Hydraling Bane Viper, you don't do that. It's just not a thing. Dark has been actually doing this pretty consistently here, so the base will get canceled. In ZVT over the last... I think I started noticing it with a Cure series, maybe, or a Beyond series, where he is consistently now trading better than Terrans in the mid to late game. Like, not just once it hits 20 minutes, he's having a better trade, which is really hard to do, by the way. No, we're looking at the total resources lost, and it's like, yeah, he's actually... he's traded better than the Zerg than the Terran over a 20-minute game, where he was in a really bad spot in the early game. And it's like, that shouldn't be possible. But Dark has been doing it again with pretty significant consistency here, which is insane to me, as the Widow Mines are going to go friendly fire. EMPs are actually not going to get all that much. I think it took a little energy off one Viper, but again, not insane. As Blinding Cloud goes down, doesn't do much. Might as well cast the spell, though. Dark does have to be careful, though. On the bottom left side, this army is again scary, and there's not a lot of lings, so a base will go down. Only 4 mineral patches. But Dark's economy, we talked about Clem's being... Okay, Clem's gonna kill. I was gonna say, Clem. I know cool guys don't look at explosions, but my friend, taking a little bit too far. So Clem's at 141 armor supply, 55 workers. He's redeveloped his economy. He's got 3 outlying bases. He's able to find mules. Fungal is gonna be okay, but the infestor will trade its life in the exchange, and it's only an okay fungal. It's not the best fungal you've ever seen. And if we look at it, that was the only infestor on the map. Dark, despite trading really nicely, he still feels back up against the ropes here. This pressure out of Clem and his inability to hold bases on the bottom side is really starting to feel hard. It's starting to feel pretty painful. Now, Viper on the left side, Parent Bomb on these very low medevacs is going to be a beautiful thing. But it doesn't feel like Dark can run down on the ramp here. It doesn't feel like Dark can actually go and run down the ramp. And Clem, his army is bigger, certainly. It's up 30 army supply instead of 40 because Dark's been trading well, and Widow Mines are going to add a lot of friendly fire there. But again, while Clem's army is big, it's very wounded. It's extremely wounded, but he's going to target down a lot of these banelings, and the Hydra count is honestly probably a little bit too high. But Dark can't afford Matsling Bane. So despite this fact that Dark has been trading better than the Terran, the income lead from Clem right now is actually just too strong. And Clem it looks like he might win a game where he's been trading worse than the Zerg for quite a while, which is, I don't think I need to say how bonkers that is. This is Widow Mine is going to get targeted down here. Hydra's on the high ground. I mean, they still do a lot of damage if they can hold the line. Clem's got an army on the left side. Widow Mine's on top of these long distance drones, but maybe this is an opportunity. Now that the army is where it is, that's going to be 3 medevacs. 30 supply gets dropped down. And Dark gets so much there, but he's going to lose another base. And at this point, it's starting to get really rough. He's sitting here mining off a base and a half. And those Widow Mines got a lot. So 59 workers to 43 drones, 110 army supply to 97. It really is down to the spellcasters of Dark at this point. I think I want to see some more infestors. By the way, Dark does have plenty of gas he can mine. He's got a full Vespene geyser there, a full one there. Dark has places he can mine gas from. He can afford the heavy gas, low mineral count of infestors. At this point, I mean, this run by is a good idea. Oh, a good connection there from Clem or from Dark as well. So the run by is going to deny mining on this left side base. I don't think it does much more than that. I don't think it kills it. Oh, big EMPs there on the Vipers, but there is one that still has energy, and that does have to get brought to bear here. Not a lot of Banelings. This is the death push coming out of Clem, but Hydra's on the flank. Banelings get solid connections to start, and the Vipers, they just drop a blinding cloud that doesn't do anything at all. But the Hydra concave, it's gonna hold on for now. And if this army gets broken, these are 3/3 cracklings, and they can just maybe break this base down. Problem is there are Widow Mines everywhere, and there's no detection in this army. There we go, 4 infestors. That's what we had to see, but I wonder if it's just a little bit too little, a little bit too late. Widow Mines targeting on the Baneling cluster, and Dark does fall. But if we took a look at this, this was a game that Clem won down, resources lost. It's wild. The bottom right in the blue, up 1-0 off a game that somehow he won while trading worse in a TvZ. It's Clem. Upper left in the red, down a game. It's Dark. And I just can't get over the insanity of a Terran player. And granted, it was only like 800 resources or something, but I can't get over the fact that a Terran won a TvZ when they had lost more than the Zerg. Generally, if a Zerg wins, they're like in the 3,000 to 5,000 deficit range. If the Terran wins, they're, you know, they've traded 10 to 15,000 resources better, depending on game length, sometimes even worse. And the fact that Clem won the game and he was down in resources, I know I just keep saying the same thing over and over again, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I legitimately don't think that I have ever seen that. Now we got a shot to do it all over again. We have been blessed. That Clem Beyond series was just something else. That Clem Beyond Game 2 was just incredible. And now we got this series. And that Game 1 was... I know my job is to talk about this, but honestly, I'm a little lost for words about how Clem was able to make that happen. And, you know, objectively, we know he was able to reestablish his economy. He was able to maintain pressure. And even though he traded worse, he made sure that Dark didn't have the economy that he did. Which, by the way, that's the Zerg game plan. He didn't play it like a Zerg, but the idea of, yeah, you're going to give your opponent some bases, but then you don't let him expand anymore, and you trade worse, but it's okay. That's how a Zerg wants to play. And the fact that Clem was able to do it with units that technically trade better, or the fact that Dark was able to trade better is, first of all, insanely impressive. The fact that Clem won anyways is just, my mind is currently blown. And I remember that started with an early game that was horrendous for Dark, by the way, where his third base was delayed for a dog's age. His fourth base got canceled twice. Cyclones supply blocked him significantly. He lost queens. I mean, it was just horrible. It was just such a bad game for Dark to start, and he still clawed back, and he still turned it into a game where he had, again, traded better than the Terran. And you look at anyone, you just look at resources lost, and you say, okay, well, Clem has lost 56,000 resources, and Dark has lost 55,000 resources, and or you don't even give names. You say this is the Terran, this is the Zerg. 56,000 resources lost, 55,000 resources lost. The average person is going to say, yeah, the Zerg stomped that game. The Zerg annihilated that game. But yeah, sorry, no, Clem won. Anyway, more Hellions on the way. No Cyclones this time. Clem's going to play it a little bit more standard, I guess. It's a nice KDA charge. Just dropping the queen, popping the queen, bouncing the queen off creep. There we go. By the way, if you are curious, we're talking about head-to-head. Clem and Dark have played a lot. Fairly recently, it's 21 to 15. And Aligulac thinks that Clem 3-0s this, which I can't quite say that I disagree with. But this Ling run by is a bit of a problem. The wall's not up, by the way. So Ling, just sit on top of the supply depot. Doesn't even matter. Hellions are going to go down, and I think we're going to go to a game 3 pretty quickly. This is just so... There we go. Lings are now on top, and now into the main base they go. Yeah, there's a Banshee that's going to pop, but who cares? Who cares? 7 SCVs. Hellions die as they spawn. It's going to be 12 SCVs. Hellions, they're not even... They're going to try to get repaired, and... Yeah, this is something. Eventually, okay, there we go. Lings are just going to sit on the supply depot once again. They're going to get as much as they can. It's 14 dead workers. More Lings are chasing the rest of things down. I thought this was going to be just a pile-on move, but it's 15 dead SCVs. Clem is very dead. Clem is extremely dead. Although I thought Dark was dead in game 1, and he came back and almost won, and then I thought Clem was dead and he won, and I think back to the, what was it, the MVP game? Was it MVP or was someone else where he went down to like 1 SCV and still won against the Eastern European Zerg player? Anyway, for now, Lings are going to deny a supply depot. 25 more minerals down the drain. Maybe, yeah, Clem's also going to get supply blocked. Banshees get nothing done because they were scouted out so far away. They were scouted out before they were even on the map, and then they were scouted out when they were on the map. So, yeah, the Banshees... very minimal damage that they're going to find. They're going to try to deny the 4th base, I guess. Spore runs up. Going to get vision. This 4th base will not be denied. There are going to be plentiful queens right there. So Dark, what does Dark do when he's got a lead? He builds 3 evolution chambers. he's so far ahead in this game, and I don't blame him for it. But it is still an interesting decision, as they're gonna get a drone or two. Clem is starting to find a bit of an angle. The queens weren't really there, but there's the damage. And this Banshee shouldn't fall, but they're both so low that they're not gonna be particularly useful for a while. But Dark's gonna, okay, so Dark got triple Evo, I think. Did he cancel one? No, he got triple Evo. And he's only getting 2 upgrades for the moment. He got Burrow for a second. There we go. 1-1-1. He is going to commit to it. And this means that his Hydraling Bane timing is going to have a 2-2-2 timing. That is very, very strong. The Banelings are going to have +2. They're going to do more damage. The Hydras are going to have +2. More damage, obviously. And again, attack upgrades on a quick attacking units like Hydras matter so much. They're all going to be tanky as well. You don't have to. Dark can have his eggs and he can eat them too. And he knows that because of the damage he got, Clem is not going to be able to really put effective pressure on the map. Losing 3 drones is suboptimal, sure. But that also meant that Clem had to build 10 Hellions. And that is already throwing things down a little bit. So there's the Hydra down. 26 Lings are on the way. Dark on 77 drones. 4th base done. 5th base on location. Adding in a 6th macro hatch, or having added in a 6th macro hatch. Dark is... he's got everything he could possibly want. I get the one thing that he doesn't have as much as he would like is, well, crew spread. That's been shut down a little bit because of the aggression. Hellions and Banshees have done a decent job, and the Slings, they're not gonna. The drop should not be able to deny that base. And Hellions, they think about diving in, but Lings are there, so Dark is on top of things. Yeah, it was MVP and Tefl. I like the Baneling more, or I like the Hellbat more, but there's just not gonna get enough. So drop on the left side, it's doing damage to a 5th base. Clem is fighting hard to try to come back into this game. But I don't think this base is going to go down. Certainly not that it's done now. Queens can transfuse. There are queens in the high ground defensively. And now there's just about 2-2-2 on the way. +1 attack. Just there we go. 2-2-2 on the way. It's just all the money here from Dark. And that does mean his supply is not quite as big as you would like. This Widowmine is going to be really, really nice. But the drone's doing all the damage. That Dark can afford it so much that he's got the drone in the army. Or it's a misclick and lag. So he's going to fix that. But it does happen. That's the most obnoxious thing when you're playing on any sort of ping. And this happened to me all the time when I was playing on 700 milliseconds ping, right? Back when I was living in Virginia. You build a bunch of stuff, and then you have to wait for all this stuff to transform before you can add it to your hotkey. So it was very easy to accidentally add a couple drones to my larva hotkey, and it happens even to the best of us. And Dark, of course, playing from Korea, he's going to experience that a little bit, even as these splits are really nice. On the left side, he's going to find a lot of Hydras here. This is not an army that can fight just yet, but the Banelings are here now, and Ling spawn, and big Baneling connection there, so that's not even going to happen. And the question now, though, is what is Dark's timing? Is it 2-2-2? Is that when he tries to run through the map? Is that when he wins this game, or tries to win this game? Clem can still turn it. It's hard. Very hard. Is it high? I don't know, but for now, Banshees aren't going to do a whole lot. Hydra is doing a nice job there, knocking these rocks down. You don't want the Lings to do it, but Hydras have the range. So this base will go down, or the rocks will go down. Widowmine hits an observer, so really minimal gain right there. And here comes Dark. He's actually hitting a bit of an anti-timing. Bjork 2-2-2, and the Banelings, well, they're going to get through kind of, but the Widowmines are doing so much here. Even still, here come the Banes, and they're doing a lot to zone Clem out. I think the base actually doesn't go down. And the Banshees, they stay alive. They kill some Banelings on the retreat. So that was a bit of an anti-timing there from Dark. 2-2-2 is done in 5 seconds. He wanted to really, I guess, just lean into Clem when he sensed an opportunity, but he could have hit so much harder with 2-2-2. With his Hydras, his Lings, and his Banes all incredibly powerful. Banshees are going to try to find something, but, well, one of them is cloaked, so Banelings try to trundle in, and this base, I think, is going to die if the Hydras decide to target it, but they're not. The Bio Army is just a little bit too strong. So, Dark, he's actually larva-starved here, as both Banshees will go down, but he loses 5 drones. Dark's kind of larva-starved here. He only has 5 larvas, so even as he's got all this money and he's got all these upgrades, he didn't have another round ready. But now Ling's gonna try to run through, and again, these Widow Mines are so good. If there's a reason that Dark comes, or that Clem comes back into this game, it's the Widow Mines. They are so freaking good here, but Dark re-engages once again. Again, massive Widow Mines, killing off so many of the Lings. And now here comes Dark again. Doesn't have 3-3, doesn't have Adrenal certainly, but this feels like he's going to break the base. There are so many Hydras in this army, and that means they can just stand and fight. At this point, Widow Mines are going to burrow on top, and that will force back for now. Banelings are all gone, but Lings are going to continue to filter on in. And again, this is the scenario where Dark is just, he can take the fight regardless. Widow Mines will burrow up once again, and the Widow Mine shots aren't incredible. They kill the Lings, they don't get the Hydras. Clem is dead. Dark will tie our series up. It's one apiece. Clem fights back hard, but Dark, he ties it up anyways. Nipper right in the blue, falling down to really a Ling run by early on in the second game. It's Team Liquid's Clem. And the bottom left in the red, Dragon Kites of Gaming, making the comeback, or tying it up, is Dark. What a wild series this has been. Dark could easily be up 2-0. I don't know that Clem could easily be up 2-0. That's a bit of a stretch. Game 2, I don't think he ever wins. If he does, it's a miracle. It's one of the greatest games of all time. So, as someone in chat said back then, the pants would dematerialize very quickly. Anyways, Clem's doing something a bit interesting here. He's got a barracks at home. He's got a barracks on the map. This is normally a TVT build where it's it's 2 racks Reaper, but it's weird. It's like a nouveau version of the 2 racks in the wall Reaper build that we saw Bjorn absolutely loving for a while. And it's one of those things that Dark may not expect. He'll expect the Reaper across the map, but he may not expect the number of Reapers or the speed of the Reapers that Clem's going to be able to get up to 3 Reapers very, very quickly, which is the 2-shot line on Lings, a 2-shot line on drones. Reapers are on the way here. First one onto the other side of the map. It gets scattered out. Now Dark knows that, okay, low ground wall, not crazy. The choke on Alcyone is pretty small. So that means that, yeah, okay, I know what's up. He may get turned on to by the fact that the command center is pretty late. It's 2:18 that this command center is going down. That is a little bit slower than if this was just a Reaper expand. So first Reaper's going to show up. More Lings on the way, more Queens on the way. Obviously you want the Queens, but the Reapers, the fact that he's adding an additional Lings tells us that Dark knows what's happening. But for now, 1 drone will fall. It's the gas drone too, which matters a little bit less, but you do want to get that 100 gas for lair quickly, and that's easily something you can't forget. So for now, more Lings have to get made. Reapers high ground, low ground, and we're just gonna go up to 3. Yeah, we're just gonna go up to 3, and it's 3 Reaper, 3 CC behind that. I guess we're going to, I'm sorry, we went to 4 Reapers. So you got 3 for the 2-shot, and then the 4th one to secure the 3rd base dying. And I think that is kind of determined at this point. I don't think Dark's going to be able to save it. So instead, he's building a lot of Lings. Speed is done in 10 seconds. So he's going to run onto the other side of the map, try to get a counterattack, but the wall's going to be here. The wall's going to be ready. So this 3rd base is dead. Drone dies as well. Lings on the other side. He knows there's actually not a lot here. So the wall's going to be there, certainly. But there's not going to be a lot of damage. And if there's bad SCV RNG, well, it's even worse. So for now, SCV is on the right spot, but now goes north or goes south side. But the Reapers, they will find their way home. Yeah, this factory is going to be delayed a little bit, but not all that long. And the Ling run by, it's not going to be all that successful. Not for now. So Dark, he's got position on the map, 100%. But Clem doesn't care. He's totally fine with this. He's got his 3rd base on the way in the main. He's got his natural done. He's adding in the starport, adding in Hellions because they're useful. Now, the one problem is he can't swap add-ons. And that's not a great place to be. He'd like to be able to reactor out whatever's coming out of the factory, but because the Lings are right there, He has to be very careful about what's happening. So Reapers will get surrounded. 2 of them go down there. Ooh. Dark catches Clem. Dark catches Clem sleeping a little bit. As Dark behind this Bane. Oh, is he thinking about it? Dark's going for a Baneling bust. Baneling nest on the way. 16 lings on the way here. Dark, yeah, he's retaking his third base, but he has no desire to take this game late by having that third base canceled like that so late. And having built all these lings as well early on, it does mean that Dark is just not going to be particularly happy. And look at this SimCity from Clem. He senses, I don't know what he saw. I really hasn't seen, just maybe the lings are still out there. I don't know. But he's building a bunker behind things. Or it may not even just be something he saw. He just knows that he's very vulnerable right now. So he's got that bunker already. The Baileys can bust through the reactor and the supply depot at the same time. That's going to be a really nice move, and gets on top here. Lings come spilling in, and we're going to see the Cyclone get surrounded very, very quickly. Now, the bunker won't fall, but who cares? You go to the main base. That's what matters. It's only a single Baneling, though. Now, more are going to morph on the high ground. SCVs, they're going to start to fall. Banelings will get targeted down. The question is how much damage gets done. The Banelings, again, they're morphing in. It's going to take a little bit longer for them to be ready. And there's a Banshee ready as well. So Clem, he's taking a lot of damage. But you have to remember, this is a Dark that's on 27 drones. He is all in a good repair. Should do the trick. Dark, he made it look tremendously scary. But he doesn't get enough done. And Clem goes up 2-1 in the series. The bottom right in the blue, up 2 games to 1. It's Clem. Upper left in the red, down a game. His Bane bust did not work. It's Dark. Well, it's early for Dark. The one thing generally we'd say, yeah, this is fine. Like, the Koreans are used to this, playing on the, especially players like Dark are not too unused to playing in this time slot, but are actually playing in worse time slots. But what I wonder is, so I know Clem leaves Wednesday morning out of France. He leaves, so that's like very early morning Wednesday for us, but Korea is 13 hours ahead. So I wonder, I got to assume that Dark's flying out pretty soon. He might even, like, my thought is he flies out on Tuesday. Especially with it's a long flight from Korea to Atlanta. So I wonder, like, how much leeway between this series ending and Dark getting to sleep and then going on to, hopping onto a plane to go to America. I don't know how long, how long he has actually. I think he probably leaves fairly soon is going to be my assumption. But for now, I mean, not like, wow, he's got to end the game so he can hop on it, so he can go to the airport, but yeah, 12, 14 hours or something like that. Anyways, for now, Reaper's going to show up. This is the single Reaper this time. We're not seeing crazy proxies that catch Dark off guard. I thought he knew about it. I really thought he knew what was happening in game number 3. He saw the delayed command center. He's building extra lings from it. But I think the thing is that he thought this was going to be 3 Reaper, not 4. And with 3 Reaper, you keep your third bases. Okay, with 4 Reaper, you don't. So he didn't quite defend appropriately. He built too many lings to defend 4 Reaper. He got himself behind and then tried to make a Baneling bust happen. It almost did. But because Clem was very quick on the rewall, it just wasn't enough. And now we're on side Delta. We're on game number 4. Clem, again, very standard. Hellions on the way. Third base on the way. So it's actually, this is the greedier version of 3CC. So it's third command center before the starport, which delays any sort of timing, but gets a lot of, well, gets your third base that much faster. And the question is, where do we go from here? Is this standard play? Is this Clem just rolling with 5 to 8 racks? Again, depending on how much damage he gets done early on. Is this Reaper will? Oh, Reaper gets out. Reaper gets out. Hellion. Oh, that's why. Because Hellions dove in to cause a distraction. Maybe get some damage done. But it's only 2, so they don't one-shot. Now our Hellion accounts at 4. And there's the Banshee on the way. Again, it's not surprising to many people, I don't think. This is very... I talked about this at the start of the series. If there is one build that defines Clem, it's this. It's this thing that we're watching right here. It is Hellions and Banshees and a quick third base. And we were talking about Dark. Should point out as well that it is 5 a.m. in France. That is true gamer hours. But also, I'm assuming, and if I was a competitor, this is what I would be doing. I'm assuming Clem has been trying to put himself on an NA time, on a North American sleep schedule for a bit now. Maybe like the last week or so. Because, I mean, one of the longest standing excuses for players underperforming going to offline events as well, it's jet lag. And we know that jet lag can't, I mean, if you're really, really tired, you're not going to play as well as you would like to. I mean, we know this has been studied, how much of an impact lack of sleep has, not only on, you know, just regular people, but also on athletes. I mean, it is a significant degradation in performance. So that makes total sense that we would see Clem do that. $100% that we would see Clem go take advantage of that one, and it also means he could play in an A and maybe do a little bit better. But Dark's got a run by on the other side, and this has been the story of this series thus far. 5 SCVs will fall. SCVs have to get pulled away. Hellions have to run all the way back home. And he's going to lose some Hellions too. This is not the game-ending damage it was last time. This was not like 20 drones that we saw earlier. It's still a lot. It's still significant damage. It still slows things down. That's great for Dark. That's great for those of us that won a game 5. Certainly, but Hellions are going to try to dive in the exchange, and drones will fall. 5 workers die off the volley. I thought that was only 3, but no. 5 workers go down, and it does something as Lings run by. This is 2 players punching each other and forgetting to defend. Now Lings, they're going to get on top of the supply depot. Too many Marines there, and 4 SCVs will fall. So at the end of the day, a little bit more damage. Okay, well, Hellions defend this now. This is a wild game here. This is very much 2 players hitting each other and just until they're black and blue in the face. But then their opponent hits them with the counter swing because you overcommit, right? You're going all the way through. All your momentum's on that right hook, and then your face is just sitting there. And Dark says, don't mind if I do. Let me block you. Let's see if Clem can do something with his first push. His 1-1 is just about done. Combat shield's a little bit slower. He's got Hellions on the left side, but they're not really in position to do much of anything right now. And Clem is, by the way, getting ready for a 4-base type of setup. That second factory going down tells us that this is likely not an 8 racks is the big thing. And realistically, an 8 racks with the damage that he's taken probably wouldn't work out all that well anyways. But he does do a good job of curtailing this creep, and Lings try to get on top here, and instead just drop into the main base. Widowmine's damage on a queen doesn't get much done. There's not a lot of defense in the main base for now. There's a spore, and that's zoning things out. But workers are falling. Lings are falling. Banelings not falling just yet. The Hellbats. Ooh, I like this. Adding in the Hellbats like this force Banelings as a response, not just Lings. The splits are actually pretty good, and more drones will not go down because the Turk. Well, there we go. Drones go down, 10 workers dead. And Clem's finding his way right back into this game, and more importantly, he sees the infestors on the map as well. So the question now, Clem is just playing very fast and loose with these. Oh, that Widowmines. Yeah, that actually might just do this. The Fungal's okay, but Dark is just dead. Oh. That was like 30. That was the big. How bad was this? How bad was this Widowmine? Okay, so we're going to go back 15 seconds. There. Okay, so Widowmine's not out yet. It's 135 supply to 136. And then we're going to see this Widowmine go. And keep in mind, we're paying attention to 64 army supply. 64 army supply. 64 army supply. 72 army supply. 70 army supply. 54 army supply. Yeah, that'll do it. Dark's dead. Clem takes the series. The last tune-up before Atlanta. Right before he flies out. Clem, 3-1.